Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fetus. This is actually podcast episode 3, but I don't know. I just didn't end up posting the other two, so I don't know. We'll call this 1 for now. Maybe I rename it later to 3. Maybe I just keep it as 1. I don't know. Um, there's 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 been a message that I've been sent that I'd like to share with the world, right? I mean, I gotta be that guy, a divine message, right? Because of course it is to me, the subjective objectivity of it all, right? To me, it's simply an objective fact. To you, it's nothing more than opinion. Maybe you aren't ready to receive all this yet, or maybe you know you simply disagree with some of it. That's fine. Take what you can, receive what you can, leave the rest for now. Maybe you grab a little more later. I like to I'd like to start with something. I'd like to start with letting you all know that I'm I'm simply a tool, not in some bad way, you know. I offer myself as a tool for the divine message, and the divine message doesn't come in English. It doesn't come in any of the languages we can speak. Um, so it gets muddied, it gets muddled, and misinterpreted, and it always lacks a little piece of that divinity. So yeah, I mean, here it is. I believe you are three things. Well, you know, I I, I put it as believe for the digestibility of you, but the reality is I mean, for me, that's just what you are, right? I mean, I know I gotta be that guy, but what am I gonna do? So first, there's your sheet, your character sheet. It's got a lot of hidden info, my friend, chapters of it, and you won't just give it out to yourself, but you are that sheet. And when I say that I'm addressing the player, the second part as well, the person playing that character sheet, which you are also. But then that player is also actually a character living in the same world, like a stacked sheet. And finally, uh, who's playing that guy? Um, I believe that's the collective unconsciousness, God, or the universe, or whatever you want to call him. It's not too important. All those words aren't what he is, anyways. Those are just our, writing, our worldliness words for it. And I mean, I say him, but you know, you know. Uh, and that guy, and I use, guy gender neutrally. Uh, that guy plays all. That guy is the source of that awareness, that heart mind you refer to as you. Um, but when, but it's like calling your arm you. There is so much more. In fact, it's really more like calling your finger. No, not even the skin. Not even that. A single cell off the very tip of your finger. There's a whole ocean for you to explore, my friend. You're just on the tip. And you don't even realize it because you're so caught up in it. You are all of those guys and trade those consciousnesses. And to you, it may only seem that way when you die, but for the big you, the big guy, it's all happening at once. Or as I really love to put it, your soup, my friend. You recognize the bowl is you, the broth is you, those sweet, sweet, high-impact ingredients is you. But you also cut the wood that made the bowl, or the tin, or the iron. You had a vision for who you wanted this character that you're playing to be. And of course, there's no story, no game to run, no guide to play if you don't give yourself a little personality disorder. So you split the guy. There's the guy, who he really is, right? There's the character. We'll use the name Joe. There's Joe. There's who Joe really is. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see it. And what I mean by, and I'm going to take pauses, you're not lagging for those of you with poor internet connection. Well, actually, you might be if you have poor internet connection. You're not lagging. I take pauses. So yeah, there's that Joe. And then the guy controlling him, Joe, in this case. That's who you believe you really are. You're Joe, man. And then there's you, the guy controlling that guy, God. And you, God, your goal is to give him an extremely difficult but accomplishable route to become Joe, to achieve who Joe wants to be, who Joe is, rather. And sometimes you're like, damn, man, that was a tough one. Elden Ring's fun, but I think I want Stardew Valley now. So you draft another and another. And like one of my friends, a little too hyped to play D&D, you draft a bunch of characters. There's Joe, there's Jolena, there's the Qdoba manager, Jolina's grandma, the fucking Qdoba manager's grandma. And now the trick is, now you're, as in God, gonna build an illusion that works so hard to convince you of your separateness, to convince you that you really are only just this guy. And when you buy it, you sin, as in you miss the point. And through that, you're offered another one. Sometimes that point is at the end of a sword. Other times, it's the direction of a compass, right? And sometimes that missing of the point comes through in many ways. Sometimes only one. It depends on who you, God, felt like playing that second. Because that's all it is to him, really. Probably even less. But you aren't separate. You never were. You're God. Sticking his finger in a glass of water. Believing to be the finger and the glass and the liquid inside. But that guy, that you, God, he spread his message across so much. Yeah, Christianity. Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism. I'm tired of naming religions, but you get the point. Probably not Scientology. But it's been diluted. The divine message corrupted, failed in some way, every time. Because it is. Even this one, be wary. But you get the point, or maybe you don't. And then, of course, you are also playing those corruptors. He, she, it, they. And of course, God's omnipotent, just like a dungeon master from D&D. So he knows, of course, The devil is gonna fall. He knows he'll betray him. Good. He needed the big bad evil guy, and he needed some idiot to beat him. You're the idiot. I'm sorry to tell you. It's alright. You're surrounded by them. I'm one too. And you play that guy too, the devil, right? After all, it all came from you. But it's not malicious, or rather, it is, but it's play. Okay, I'll be the bad guy. Let's see if you can resist. If you can, your reward is the next campaign. If you like. If not, I'm sorry, my creation. I love you, but you gotta stay here a little longer. Work out some things. Cook a little longer. Then, find your redemption. And it's all so real. You get grabbed by it. Sucked in. Pulled in. You forget who you are. God, Joe, and that heart mind. And then, well, this is the best part. The process of becoming holy. Of remembering who you are. And yet accepting who you are currently playing. Yes, I am the one testing my own very self. And sometimes I hate that guy. But I did it for a reason. Or rather, I should say that reason doesn't have to be so grandiose. That doesn't mean it's not valuable. It's not also serious. It's play. Valuable play. The most valuable play you can ever have. But to be serious is to get a little too sucked in it. Back up a little. Have a little faith in yourself. To trust yourself. To trust your DMing skills. Or GMing skills. Or, yeah. If I just listen to the clues for where the adventure is, I'm gonna have not necessarily a good time, but a fulfilling one, which is far, far better. It's far, far better to have a nice, delicious, well-balanced meal than a bunch of fucking Sour Patch Kids. And then there are the two heavens, the break room and the playroom. One's a little, a dual. It's got a dual purpose. One of them's a hell too. The playroom is the place where it's better than being high, and I don't even necessarily mean off anything. That's not the high I'm talking about. It's complete reconnection with all the yous. And when God, has taken his nap, has eaten his Doritos, has watched, a good show, and is well rested, you say, hey, I'm a little bored. It's great all the time, and that's great, but, well, as one of my friends told me in an offhanded comment that held so much wisdom hidden within it, I need some variety. Yeah, it's not that it's any better or worse. The break room is great. It's got the Doritos, the, cigarettes, the water, the friends, the, beer and nachos and all that good stuff. But eventually, you gotta get that itch. You are the creator after all. You must take your time to recoup, and then after that it is time to play again. So let's pretend now, not Joe or Jolena, but Joe Berg, right? And Joe Berg the second, and Joe Berg's mom, and that guy working at 7-Eleven across the street, and that guy's mom. And let's make conflict with ourselves and overcome it. And that playroom holds both heaven and hell. They both exist here simultaneously, And I'm not giving you a metaphor, but we can tell ourselves that. If that's what you need to walk in the door, if that's what you need to open your heart to what I'm saying, sure. But to me, the evidence sits right in front of us. The holy man is already in heaven. He does not need to leave here. Or rather, eventually he does. Eventually he needs to leave here, but when it's his time, he's ready to go and join the break room. He relishes the game, too. And God truly gets to live through him, through the holy man. Ah, yes. This is the game I was looking for, he says. The man who lacks that holiness, the woman, whatever, will constantly be in turmoil. And, of course, that's where we all start. And that has a chance to form into what I call the degenerate. Right? It was in the back, the recesses of my mind somewhere. Maybe I got that term from somewhere else. I don't know. I'm putting a divine message that comes in no language into one. So that will degenerate, I suppose. Some of it. Wink, wink. And yes, the degenerate. The man who lets the devil inside instead live through him. And I'm talking in, Christian phrasing. Because that's what I grew up on. So that's what's easiest for me to communicate in. But make no mistake, this is not Christian or cat or, any subcat. It's just my way. The words aren't the message. The message is the message. The man, the degenerate, the woman, the man, woman, it doesn't matter. The degenerate lets the devil instead live through them, making their life constant suffering. No fulfillment, just pain, just hurt, just an avenue through which you can place more hurt onto others. And you don't get to see the break room. That degenerate, the one who allows themselves to become a tool for hurt, they don't even see the break room. So they keep coming back here. They're too focused on what's down here. So they keep coming back over and over again, exhausting the degenerate soul, that finger of God. And God is... they, it, she. They got more than 10 of them. Let me say that. And the degenerate exhausts his soul. 'Cause he gets no break. Or it, they? Ducks? I don't... And... the degenerate will keep doing it forever until, well, they allow themselves to hear God, and not only hear God, but listen closely, and not only listen, but trust in him enough to follow him. And whenever I talk to people about this, I can feel the tightness. I can feel it rise in them. I'm not God. That's blasphemy. It's arrogant. It's foolishness. Well, I'll trust what he told me over some book that's been translated 1,000,000 times and is written by humans who can corrupt the word and isn't even the original. Yeah, that's most of the books, by the way. Not just the Christian one. It's most of the books. And that doesn't mean they don't have good stuff in them, but be careful. Because, yeah, I'll trust what God tells me. And, I gotta be that guy. I'm just that guy. He really speaks to me. I know. My heart, mind can tell. I'll trust that guy, what he tells me. over an object. And I see it. The object become the message. And people, they become so distracted, so consumed. It becomes a way for people to actually cover their ears and ignore godliness, ignore holiness with his own damn books. And in this, God cries and angers and accepts. He loves you. Or, in other words, you loves you. Is what that's what I just said, essentially. Right? He loves you. It's no different than saying he loves you. We're all one, broken into that separateness, so we can feel surprised, so we can feel happy and be grateful, because we have also felt anger. But gratitude is a choice and a practice and a yoga. It's not just some willy-nilly bullshit. We can ignore it and become entitled and travel even further from ourselves. So, I had this friend ask me, who am I then? And I say, no, not who, not what, not how. You're fucking everything. And yet, oh man, that's just the divinity. Without the shadow, it lacks compassion. Or rather, it doesn't lack compassion, but there's a certain coldness to it. Okay, that's great, I'm everybody. I guess another way to put it is it lacks a certain level of understanding for the sheet. That guy is really that guy. Joburg is really Joburg. Sure, God's good without eating. Sure, God doesn't have OCD, but Joburg, he fucking does. He needs to eat. And so we must recognize the shadow too. You are everything, but right now you're playing Joburg. So respect both. Respect that duality. The everything. The divinity. And the physical and materialistic. Don't rise above it. That's arrogant. Don't fall to it either. That's foolishness. Instead, act with both. It's a hard act, I think you'll find. Or maybe I'm just a silly little guy. Maybe I just like the feeling of poop down my legs. But hey, as far as I'm concerned, half of what I just said, well, that was a different me talking, if you know what I mean. After all, I'm my own tool. Or maybe I'm just a blasphemous little guy going to a fiery pit. Take your pick. Sometimes the heart mind gets all twisted and confused like that. That's okay. If you can't receive everything I'm saying right now because of the inner battle of your whole life and what you've been taught, then just receive what you can. Take your time. God, got all the time in the world. And I, Gabriel, and the heart mind have a decent chunk left too. For a silly, little, weak, feeble mortal anyways. Wink, wink. So, that's my fucking TED Talk. There it is. There's the podcast, folks. Enjoy. See you when I see you. Or don't. That's okay, too.